Hello guys, CryptoRef here. Today I want to talk about an ICO that's called Authorship. Now, Authorship, I'm very fond of the idea of Authorship. What Authorship is it is an aim to create a marketplace where author, publishers, translators, and readers get together and create an ecosystem where they can interact with each other. So let's dive right down. There's a really cool graphic here, this one. So if we look at the traditional market prices, industry prices for the industry right now, 10% of the royalties for printed books go to the author and 25% for ebooks. On the other side, if they would list it on Authorship, they would get 50% for printed books and 90% for ebooks, which is 5 times as much for printed books and almost 4 times as much for ebooks. What makes this difference? This difference is made by the publishers because in the traditional industry, they take a huge chunk of the money, which is not fair at all. They're capitalizing on the author, even though the author should theoretically get much more because he's the creative mind behind the whole process. And I think it's fair that the author gets much more money. So this is what Authorship does. Authorship creates an ecosystem where publishers will have to compete with each other to print books. That means if I want to buy a book and I buy a book on Authorship, then publishers will compete to print it for the lowest price possible. So if a publisher wants to print it for $2.50 and another one wants to print it for $2.20, then the publisher for $2.20 is going to be able to print the book. And that's how smaller publishing companies will gain momentum again. And what that means as well is that we're being way more efficient on logistics because publishers are going to try to keep their prices low, which means they're going to print the books probably around where you are, so they don't have to ship it that far. And so that's good on the ecosystem of our planet, and also it's very efficient money-wise. And it decentralizes the whole publishing industry. So it takes away the power from the big publishers, which only want to sell books very fast, and they don't care about, they just care about making money fast. So they just sell bestsellers. But on Authorship, that would be completely different. And you would have a much bigger freedom of choice on books, which is absolutely great. I mean, I love reading books. I love reading about new ideas, and I love this idea. So yes, all of this is absolutely great, but what are the drawbacks to this entire thing or to this idea? And the drawback is actually that they have a huge roadmap and they haven't built anything yet. So, I mean, sure, huge roadmaps, sure, but they haven't built anything. All of this is just an idea. It's a very elaborate idea, but it's just an idea nonetheless. So if you buy the ATS tokens, wait, why doesn't this work? I think my internet's slow right now. Yeah, so either way, yeah, I read through the white paper. I went to Reddit. I researched about this, and I even sent them a message. They didn't reply, by the way, which is kind of shady, but whatever. Why is my internet not working? This is kind of weird. Okay, I'm going to get back to you as soon as I fixed my internet. Okay, sorry about that. Actually, turns out that it wasn't my internet that crashed, but it was their website that crashed. So either way, what I still wanted to talk about was the contribution itself. So as of now, they have contributed $3.8 million. And 20% of that money is going to go into reserve. That's going to be paid out to the first 100,000 authors. And the rest of the money is going to be sold to the crowdfund. So to the people who are going to buy the tokens. And now what is very weird about the price of the token, they want to set it at 15 cents. But you buy right now at how much? At 4 million tokens raised, you would get around 9,000 ATS tokens for your money. 9,000 times 15 cents is approximately like $1,400. What that means is that for $300 invested, you get $1,400, which is more than 4 times as much, right? And what that leads me to believe is, of course, it's going to get dumped, as soon as it's going to be listed, it's going to be dumped. Because if you can make such fast profit, then it's going to be dumped, except if the tokens are going to be locked. But I haven't read about this, so I don't know about this, but the price discrepancy is quite high, which makes me very skeptical about this whole thing. And of course, again, this it's just an idea. It's nothing concrete yet. So the idea itself is great, but are they going to execute on it? Are they going to create the right marketplace? They could also just take the money they have raised and do almost nothing, or nothing at all. They could technically vanish. So I am skeptical about this entire project, but the idea itself is great. I'm in love with the idea. So if I saw now another project which would maybe have built some infrastructure, the website, a bit of the ecosystem, I would trust in it much more than I trust in Authorship right now. So let me know what you guys think about this, and yeah, till next time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in.